Welcome back, everyone. My name is Patrick. You're watching the Oilers Rundown, broadcast on the Oilers Fanatic and the Heavy Hockey Network. The Edmonton Oilers coming off now a 2-game losing streak with back-to-back losses to the Vancouver Canucks and Washington Capitals. Of course, the first game last night of Connor McDavid's 3-game suspension, so at least one of the games is in the rearview mirror. As I mentioned in my Fanatic Rundown last night, really felt that Leon Draisaitl stepped up, as he always does, with a goal and an assist. He was definitely the best player on the ice last night. Unfortunately, the Edmonton Oilers couldn't find a way to get as many shots on net as they should have. I mentioned that repeatedly in my Fanatic Rundown last night, just not taking advantage of the opportunities the Washington Capitals gave to them. Logan Thompson was excellent in goal for the Capitals. He kept the Oilers at bay for the most part, but definitely another disappointing result for the Edmonton Oilers. There was some changes today at practice. Podkolzin, Draisaitl, and Arvidsson remained together as the Oilers' new number one line. Zach Hyman was paired with Adam Henrique and Corey Perry as the new second line. Matthias Janmark, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Connor Brown are together as the new third line. And Jeff Skinner, Noah Philp, and Kasperi Kapanen make up the current fourth line. On defense, no changes. Ekholm and Bouchard, Nurse and Stetcher, Kulak and Emberson, and John Klingberg was skating as the seventh defenseman, and it appears that Stuart Skinner will get the start tomorrow as the Edmonton Oilers get set for a rematch with the Vancouver Canucks. Oilers head coach Chris Knobloch had this update on John Klingberg's timeline to join the team.
After a few days of seeing Kingberg out there, seems to be partaking in everything, moving pretty well. Is there any change in your projected timeline for him?
I think it'll be sometime next week. We've got 3 games next week. We'll determine which one of those he gets into. But right now, unless there's a setback, that's kind of what we're looking at.
And is that you working with him? How do you feel? When do you think you're ready? Or do you guys make that call yourselves?
It's on all of us. Ultimately, I make the last decision on if he's going to play or not, but I get feedback from the coaches on what they see and what we need for the upcoming game or week. Obviously, the medical staff, I check in with them, and then obviously with John, knowing, is he comfortable? How do you feel? Is it bothering you? Do you feel 100%? Do you feel like it's still fast for you? Those are things. So I think between those 3 groups, we make that decision.
With next week as the new benchmark for John Klingberg's return, it could prove to be a very special game on Monday against the Seattle Kraken, as it would see the return of Connor McDavid and the very first game for John Klingberg, but the Oilers may choose to give him a couple more extra days, as the Oilers have a 2-day break in between their games against Seattle and Detroit on Thursdays. So Thursday's game against the Detroit Red Wings may make more sense for the debut of John Klingberg. And one other note I wanted to go over tonight, TSN insider Pierre LeBrun on Insider Trading last night had this update on the Edmonton Oilers. He said the Oilers still want to add to their D, but it will not be a sexy addition, more of a depth guy, a shutdown player who can also play the penalty kill. I guess a lot of that will depend on how John Klingberg looks and how he performs for the Edmonton Oilers ahead of the trade deadline, but some other depth options for the Edmonton Oilers that may make some sense. There's a couple guys on Montreal, David Savard, Mike Matheson. I know David Savard isn't too popular of a pick, but if the Oilers are strictly looking for a depth guy, David Savard may fit that close to perfectly. Mike Matheson did a great job shutting down Connor McDavid in the Oilers-Canadiens game a few months back now. So he could be a good option, possibly Marcus Pettersson with the Pittsburgh Penguins, another guy we know the Oilers have had interest in. So it will all depend, of course, on Evander Kane's situation. It's looking like he's going to miss the rest of the season, but nothing official on that yet from the Edmonton Oilers. We should know more on Evander Kane over the next few weeks and have a better idea of what the Edmonton Oilers trade deadline plans truly are. Well, I think that's all I have for now, guys. Like I said earlier, tomorrow night, the rematch with the Vancouver Canucks. The Edmonton Oilers looking for a little bit of revenge. Connor Garland may want to watch us back. Just saying. But we'll see what happens tomorrow night. The best revenge for the Edmonton Oilers would be getting a win over the Vancouver Canucks, especially after losing the last couple games here. Getting back in the win column, extremely important for the Oilers. So let's hope they can bounce back. Connor McDavid did speak to the media as well today about his suspension. He was frustrated, disappointed, but he's moving forward, and that's what the rest of us need to do as well. It's a crappy situation that we lost Connor McDavid for 3 games, but he did something wrong. He knows that. We know that, and The suspension may have been a little bit harsh, but we're already one game into it, 2 more games, and we get Connor McDavid back and possibly the debut of John Klingberg as well on Monday against the Seattle Kraken. And just a reminder, I will be a guest on Oilers Live later tonight at 9 o'clock on the Heavy Hockey Network, and Tyson from Dolany TV is expected to be a guest as well. So be sure to head on over to the Heavy Hockey Network and join us with your Oilers thoughts. I'll have a link up to the stream on a YouTube post later tonight. I think that's all I have for now, guys. Let me know your thoughts on everything. What would you like the Edmonton Oilers to go after at the trade deadline? A defenseman, a goaltender, top 6 forward, bottom 6 forward? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If this is your first visit to the channel and you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing for all the latest Oilers content. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan.